Good morning and welcome to our coffee and chat this Monday morning. Before we start our little thought for today, I want to share with you some sad news, that of our brother Frank Leslie, who passed away just a few days ago. Frank was a regular every Monday morning, first person through the doors of Shell Cafe, and Frank will be missed. His death was not related to COVID-19. He died of natural causes in the Ulster Hospital. Due to current legislation, there will be a very small family service at a graveside, but when all of this is said and done, the family's hope would be that we would have a memorial service for Frank, and once we hear notification of that, we will let you know the details. So this morning our prayers and thoughts are with Frank's family and wider circle. As we come to enjoy our cuppa this morning, I just want to bring to you a few thoughts. We quite often hear of people who have a brush with death, whether that be a massive heart attack, a serious illness, or an accident of some sort. And after that time, when they recover, they often recover with a heightened sense of smell, a heightened sense of seeing the colour in the flowers and all that nature holds in a different way than what they've done before. What we're living through at the moment has the potential to change our lives as we move forward into the future. I wonder how we will come out of all of this. There will be very few people who live through this and are not changed by it. But we have a choice to make. We have got to choose whether we let this whole adventure that we're on right now change us for the good or for the bad. Some people, when all of this is said and done, will live with a heightened intensity to fear. They will fear everything. They will fear other people. They will fear going back into the shops. They will fear what will become a new normal. But my prayer is this morning that we will not choose fear, but that we will choose faith. Faith over fear in these circumstances. We have a choice how we live. We have a choice how we live, not just in what will be, but we have a choice in how we live in what we are going through just now. I seen a great thing on Facebook the other day, and it was a family who had taken an empty glass jar, and in it they were placing little bits of paper. Every time somebody said, "I wish I could. I wish I could go out for a walk into the forest. I wish I could go to the cinema. I wish I could get my hair cut." Whatever the little things in life were that they were missing the most right now, they were writing them down on bits of paper and putting them in that jar. When all the restrictions are lifted, they've decided then they will take one thing out a day, and they will do that thing with a new attitude of thankfulness, a new attitude of rejoicing in the little things. I want you to imagine that jar this morning. If that was yours, what sort of things would go in it? I wish I could hug my grandchildren right now. I wish I could join together in church in the building with other people that I've been used to doing week after week, year after year. I wish I could. The question is, will we have the thankfulness and the gratitude when all of it is said and done? When we have come out the other end? Will we live in that attitude of thankfulness, and will faith win over fear? What we take for granted and have taken for granted in the past, we must choose to appreciate in the future. As we start this journey through Holy Week, we will be meeting again on Thursday evening and Friday evening, before we meet again on glorious Easter Sunday. And we will be looking at how that week impacts our life, not just in our choice for salvation, but in our choice how we live out our life for Christ. There's a big difference from the first Sunday in that story, when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey and people hailed him as the promised one, as they shouted, "Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." As he journeys through this week, he is abused, rejected, betrayed, disowned, beaten, spat upon, made fun of, and ultimately crucified. But yet, we still come to Easter Sunday and the glorious resurrection. Jesus chose what way he would live that week. He had no option but to go through the difficulty of that week. But he chose faith over fear. And his example calls out for us to do the same. We read in 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7, we walk by faith and not by sight. We walk by faith and not by sight. It was Martin Luther King Jr. who said, you don't have to see the whole staircase just to take the first step. As we live one day at a time now, we don't know what that staircase ahead of us looks like. We don't know what new restrictions may come in place next week, or indeed what restrictions could be lifted. How the landscape of our community will change in the days and weeks and months that lie ahead. But we don't have to see that whole staircase to choose to take the first step in faith. Paul reminds a younger Timothy in 2 Timothy 1:7 that God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. This morning, as we enjoy a cuppa together, I challenge you to think of how you choose to live. Do you choose to live putting faith above fear? Do you choose to live in the spirit that God has given us, the spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind? God calls us to live out our life in the shadow of his cross and resurrection. He calls us to be a witness to those around us. He calls us in the midst of this pandemic to live a life of faith over fear. Enjoy your cuppa.